Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I am Coach Lorianne. Our goal here at Healthy Lifestyle is to inspire, educate, empower you to fulfill a healthy, emotional, spiritual, and physical life so you too can feel empowered to live the life you have always wanted and dreamed and deserved. Welcome to the show. I hope you're having a really good New Year's. Happy New Year. I am excited because our first show of the year is with the great, wonderful Michael Loftus. Michael, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here. Let's do it. Let's kick off 2024 and just get completely nuts and have a blast.
Yeah, baby. So talk about your New Year's Eve. What'd you do?
Oh, I laid low. This is my habit in the past few years. I don't want to go out. I just want to stay back and just let everybody. I get my own fireworks. I go crazy. I do my thing, but I'm not hopping in a car. I'm not getting on the road. I'm just staying in my own little confines.
I hear you. I hear you. I know. I used to sing. Well, I still sing, but
Yes.
I used to go in and sing as a profession on New Year's Eve, which was crazy. And I would do it at a place in New York City, and it was called SPQR. I don't know if you know it, but we used to sing there. Craziest thing. So I went in the first year, and I didn't want to do it because I live all the way on the east end of Long Island. And I was like, oh my God, it's going to be a 2 hour ride, blah, blah, blah. It was all the excuses you could possibly make,
Yes.
but I love to sing. And I was like, all right, for the right price. And they gave me a ridiculous amount of money to come. And I was like, all right, that's the right price. So I show up at SPQR. I walk in the front door. It's owned by Italians. I get these two big gorillas come to me, and I have all my equipment, my little singing equipment. And they're like, could you put your arms up? And they were like doing the checking thing. And I'm like, what do you think I'm hiding in this mini skirt, dude? I mean, there's nothing that you can't see in the skirt. So they laughed and they were like, okay, give us your keys. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And they said, give us your keys. So I was like, okay, who's going to argue with the guy toting a gun? I'm like, all right, here you go. And they went out the front door and my car disappeared. And I was just like, okay, well, now I don't have to worry about parking because that was one of my concerns. I'm like, where am I going to put the car in
Yeah.
New York City, down in the village, on New Year's Eve? And will it still be there when I get out? So not to say that New York isn't safe, but anyway, so at the end of the night, I come back over and my car's sitting in the front. They drove it back over. I was like, I love doing this gig. So year
Yeah.
after year, I did that for a couple of years and I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. But it was really wild. They were, wanding me the whole 9 yards. And I was like, seriously, dudes. But
Yeah. But that's the great part is they came back with your car and had it
yes,
waiting for you. And see,
upside.
that's wonderful. But then the ride home is always terrifying
Okay,
because
that
you're
was
always
terrifying.
worried about the other drivers. So you're like the white knuckle death grip.
Oh, without a doubt. So, picture this, 2 o'clock in the morning, death grip, white knuckles, all the way down the Long Island Expressway, people like doing really weird things. And this was, all right, I'll really date myself. This was really before texting. So I can't even imagine what it looks like now.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so, and then the final year, I was like, no, I had a small baby at the time. I was like, yeah, no, I'm out, tapping out. So
Yeah.
ever since then, it's nice and quiet. I don't do the New Year's thing. I stay with family and friends. We go have a nice dinner. We're in the house by 10, so we're not on the road by crazies. So it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good stuff.
Absolutely. I've yeah, after you because you're so used to working on New Year's Eve. And the same thing here. It's like you would tell people, okay, it's an outrageous sum of money to get my ass up off the couch. And then they give you an outrageous sum of money. And then for whatever reason, you do that first year without a show on New Year's Eve, and you're like, this is really weird. This is really odd. Like you want to jump out of your skin. You don't know what to do
Yeah.
by not being on stage. And then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, I liked it. I liked it. I want it's like a drug.
It is. It really is. I was like, okay, this is intoxicating. I kind of like spending the time bringing in the New Year's and not worrying about like if I'm going to die on the way home. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a really good thing. But I saw that everybody had a really good time, and a lot of people have this habit of doing New Year's resolutions. Are you a New Year's resolution dude?
I am not. I'm not only am I not a New Year's resolution guy, I'm a don't tell your resolutions to anybody guy.
Oh, you're a secret squirrel guy.
I am. Because
Okay.
here's the deal. Because
Well,
it's
didn't you
like
just contradict yourself? You said you don't do it, but you keep it to yourself. What now?
whenever I make a big change, I don't tell anybody about it unless it's completely obvious that something's changed or I'm so confident that it's going to last.
Me too. Me too. Because things, take different directions. So
Yeah.
I don't share it. And people go, why don't you tell people you have a radio show? Why don't you tell people you just started your new TV show? And I was like, I will. Not yet.
Yes. Right? It's
Because
like whenever like you see those people on Facebook and they go, this is it, this is my year. I'm gonna lose 50 pounds. I'm like, don't do that. Don't.
a lot of
Why are you
pressure.
putting that pressure on yourself? You're gonna have a hard enough time going to the gym and eating healthy and changing some of your habits. You don't have to tell the world about it.
Yeah, and that's why 92% of the people fail. Only 8% of us actually take action and stick to it. So I usually do a visioning. Actually, this Friday, I'm doing a visioning um, where it's a workshop where you actually write down your goals. I'm all about goals because goals give you benchmarks. You can check back like a litmus test of, hey, did I reach those goals? And the cool thing is don't hold on to the end result because it will change. Universe is going to push you in directions that you don't even anticipate. But as long as you have something, it gives you a direction to go in. It's similar
Yeah,
to when I go on vacation. I always have an end place where I'm going to go. But what I'm going to do there, I never plan because I want to feel it and I want to see where we're going to go. I'm not a big, going to all the places that everybody wants to go to. I like doing like the back streets and learning the culture
yeah.
and hanging out with the people in the village or the towns. And I love that. So I let it take me. I went to Australia with my son. He had an internship over there at the restaurant called tragically Attica. It's a Michelin restaurant, but it's called Attica. When he told me, I'm like, where are you going now? And he goes, no, 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 it's a restaurant in Australia. But we were over there, and one morning it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, what are we going to do today? And I got on the on my iPad and I started looking around. We ended up going horseback riding in the morning. We went to a vineyard after horseback riding, and then we ended up at the top of the mountain having a really nice spa day because after horseback riding, I needed a little massage going on because I was achy. But we ended the day at the top of a mountain, and that was all spur of the moment. So sometimes
Wow.
it's more fun, but you still have to have set goals, right? Don't you think?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want to be the person who goes like you go all the way to Italy and then we ran out of time. We didn't see the Colosseum,
Right.
right? There's certain things you want to make sure you do no matter what.
Well, those I'll schedule. Those are, obvious things that I have to
Yeah.
say I went to. Otherwise, my mom would be upset. She's like, why didn't you go to the Coliseum? Huh? But if we don't set goals, what happens is you look at hey, where'd the time go? And all of a sudden
Yes.
you're looking at January 2025, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm
if
a
keep us focusing on track.
I stumbled across that the Stoics, the Marcus Aurelius thing, and that seems to be a pretty good fit for me. I like the idea of like I want to do so many things for myself and for my business and where I want to be. And so I'm making a list and I'm going down that list and I'm like, wow, those are all things that I did for myself and for my business and my craft, and it's gonna move that rock up the hill, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So every action we take, so there's 7 areas of our lives, and we can't separate. I love it when someone says life and work. I'm like, no, we're one human. So if we're having a hard time at home, we're gonna be bringing it to work. We're just
Yeah.
human. That's how we are. So we want to look at all the areas, and you'll find if you look at the 7 areas, financial, personal, health, right? Contributions, giving back. If you look at all of those areas, you're going to see this one code that goes through the whole thing that kind of ties them all together. And you'll see the same thing in many of the 7 areas. because it's actual goal, so it makes it easier to attain. So that's why I love doing the visioning every year. I love people coming to it and just sitting down and spending that time together collectively
Yeah.
and writing down your goals, because it's I don't mean forced time, but it's dedicated time where you're actually contemplating just for yourself, taking just looking at the what, not the how, not how you're going to do it, just what you want to do. And that's an important part of goal setting, is what you want to do. So what do you want to do in 2024, my friend?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing it. I'm launching a streaming service, launching an alternative to Amazon and Netflix and Disney Plus and all that woke stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh yeah, sometimes I'm a little slow, but it occurred to me about 5 months ago when we started doing the sketch comedy show, That Show Tonight, that
Oh,
everybody
I
can.
love that show tonight.
I'm glad you came out. That was a fun night. And everyone can check it out at thatshowtonight.com. But it occurred to me, like, that was a huge undertaking, like over a year ago. Okay, so we're gonna do this sketch comedy show, we're gonna do a talk show, blah blah blah. So we needed our own computer servers, our own, software, all this stuff.
Well, that's so nobody can cancel you. You have complete
Yeah,
control. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Which is crazy that that's the first thing that you have to do when you're starting a creative endeavor on the internet. But it occurred to me that it's like, wow, so we have all this storage, we can stream all these shows. Wow, we could do other stuff too. And some friends of mine have feature films that they've done, and some other friends have stand-up specials. And so we've just been like acquiring content, building out the new website, and we're so close to launch. It's super exciting. It's super
So
exciting.
exciting. So you said something that you were a little slow, and I will just remind you and our listeners that we're exactly where we're supposed to be at the exact right time. So you're doing absolutely wonderful. And let's talk about that show tonight. And you can watch it. It's hysterical. Thatshowtonight.com. I had such a good time. We went to the warehouse. It's over on Long Island, and sat there while you were taping two shows back to back. That's a lot of energy, my friend.
Yes.
So much fun. The place was packed, absolutely packed. We had so much fun. How did that concept come up? Where did you get the title from, that show tonight? That's what we were talking about. I'm like, how did you come up with that? You know me, query girl, you know.
It's I was always, so I wrote on television shows, back in the day,
You mean like Kevin James?
yes, a show for Kevin, two shows for Kevin James, a show for George Lopez, a show for Charlie
Charlie
Sheen,
Sheen, anger
a bunch.
management.
Yes.
I was just watching a couple of those reruns on no, Roku, on Roku down
Roku.
here in South Carolina.
There you go. Well, I was always jealous of Friends in the way that they gave their shows titles, like the one where Joey gets a bump, or the one where Rachel, like, I always like, that's the best. The one where, because that's how you describe TV shows. Oh, I was watching Two and a Half Men last night. Which one? Oh, the one where blah 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 blah. So when we were going to do this sketch comedy show, that's like, kind of like Saturday Night Live, but it's kind of like Chappelle and kind of like a talk show. It's its own thing. I'm like, let's just call it That Show Tonight. So when people go, what are you going to watch? Oh, I'm going to watch That Show Tonight.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. That's good. It was so funny. I was telling my friends, I invited my girlfriend with me, and I was like, Deborah, we're going to go see the show. She goes, what's it called? I said, That Show Tonight. She goes, yeah, I understand. It became one of those who's on first kind of an
Right?
episode back and forth with us. I'm like, no, that's the name of the show. And she's like, that's so cool. And I was like, no, it's That Show Tonight.
Who's on first?
Exactly,
Yeah. We
exactly. And when I was there, I got an opportunity, and thank you so much. I am that geek. I love supporting people who write books, and you have this beautiful book, neither stunning nor brave, and you actually autographed it to me for me. So I was just like, I was that girl.
You're very kind. You're very kind. It's one of those very surreal, like, you've got a best-selling book right there. It's very odd when you sign a book. Like, as a stand-up, I've had people who were like, "Hey, will you sign my boob? Hey, will you sign my arm? Hey, will you sign this picture?" But like, there's something weird about a book. Like, I'm more comfortable signing a boob or a butt cheek. than I
That
am.
says a lot about you, Michael. No judgments. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's always fun because like you're doing stand up and then some guy comes up with his girlfriend and he's like, "Hey," and they kind of want to let you know that they're cool and she's like, "Hey, I want you to sign something for me." And
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've never had that experience. I only sign the books, and even that is kind of bizarre when they do it. I had it happen. I do my radio show at JVC Broadcasting at MacArthur Airport.
yeah.
And the planes are emptying out. We're over by the baggage area. I feel like a fish in a tank. Now I understand how goldfish feel, right? And this
Yeah.
little kid comes up and they're tapping on the window and they're waving and I'm waving back and it's really cool. And at our break, I come out to go speak to the engineer who's in the other booth. And he comes over to me and he's like, "Could you give me your autograph?" And I'm like, "Oh, all right. All right." And I just like give him my autograph and I'm like, "Save that. It might be worth something someday." And I'm like, but the mom and dad, but so cute. And you never know who you're going to inspire. So I know
Yeah.
that you inspired so many people that, I mean, we were crying. We were laughing so hard. I think you autographed my book. It's like, could you be a little quieter when you're laughing? Because I do have a hard laugh. But it was so much fun, and I saw some of the gentlemen in the audience, some of the women in the audience. They were so inspired by what you were saying, the way you were saying it. It's so smart, your comedic timing, and what you say, that it's so approachable for everybody. It's something everybody can digest, and you take the most complicated issues and you shake it down so that it becomes so palatable for anybody.
Well, thank you for saying that, but like that's really what and no lie, but like with America and where we've been the past few years and where we're headed in 2024, I think that there's so many issues that are presented to us as very complex. It's very complex, and usually I found that's the first thing someone says who's trying to trick you, right? Oh, it's very complex. No, it's actually not. And I think that most Americans just feel it instinctually, that it's pretty basic right now between what's good and what's bad, what's good for us, what's bad for us, what's healthy, what's not healthy. Nothing's too complex. It's pretty simple now
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
boil shit down.
Yeah, it's intuitive, but you do it in such a way that it really makes it palatable. It's bite-sized pieces. And I know what's going on too is I think we're all losing faith in institutions across the
Yes.
board, federal
Yes.
government, any kind of medical institutions. It's just our trust level I think what universe is telling us is go back into your intuitive side. If you're thinking it, if you're feeling that, listen to what you're telling yourself. You're probably right.
Yes.
If it looks like it's going to be toxic, maybe you shouldn't drink or eat it. I'm just saying.
And what is the downside of losing faith in these institutions? Because the way they get that trust back is by being transparent and showing us everything and being above board. And enough with these BS studies and like no one is anti-science, but 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 we all have to agree on science.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and what's the status of it, right? So
Yes.
it's an interesting conundrum that we're in, but I think it's actually a healthy thing from one perspective, not so healthy and scary as all could be if it doesn't go the right way soon. Um, on another level. But
Yeah.
I think what it does is it's having us really use our own minds. I think we need to go use our own minds. The scary part is a lot of people haven't been taught how to be analytical and critical. Thinking is a really important element, is to go, this doesn't make sense to me. They just go, well, so and so said. And, I've always been, as you now know, I've always been quizzical. So I'm just like inquisitive. So I just, I'm always asking questions. I'm curious as to
Yes.
why someone says what they say. Well, why? Why is it that, oh, so and so said and blah blah blah. Yeah, but they didn't answer my question. Why does it work this way? Why is it broken? Why are people, so
Yes.
nervous today? Why is it suddenly the gas prices going down magically? Why are, magically things happening that were said no to so strongly less than 6 months ago? Why
Yes.
are these shifts happening, Michael?
Yeah. And that is the number one question that I'm trying to get people to with my podcast and my YouTube channel, which is all the Loftus Party. People can go to theloftusparty.com. But like I'm really trying to look at ideas comedically as to not turn people off,
Yeah.
right? I just don't want to. There's enough like political pundits on both sides of the aisle who are like, this is the worst and this is the worst. However, if I can make somebody laugh and have them ask the question, well, why? Oh, all these immigrants are coming across. Why? That's all I want to have happen. Just ask that question, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And just ask the why question on everything. On
Yes.
everything. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You're listening to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. We're going to take a short break. We're here on JVC Broadcasting, and we will be right back. Welcome back to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I am Coach Lorianne. And if you'd like to be a guest or lift up your business, product, non-for-profit, or have a question or comment, please email us at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. That's healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. We love hearing from you, and I always answer everything personally because we do really appreciate your support. Now, back to who we love having on our show is Michael Loftus, the funniest man in the world and such a kind soul and very, very generous. So thank you. Yeah, your check cleared, whatever. So Michael, let's talk more about that show tonight. It's a great platform. It's kind of like a talk show. Then you go into little skits. It reminds me of, yes, dating myself to the Johnny Carson show.
Woo! But what a great compliment.
Yeah,
That's
baby.
that's the highest of all compliments. It is an amazing amount of fun and what I love first of all, I love that the topics that we do the skits about are like ripped right out of the headlines. And some stuff is like evergreen. It's just funny for funny's sake. But I love making fun of something that just happened in the news and having a topical conversation about it. And a lot of places, like, you can't even have these conversations without your show being canceled. Like, oh, you just can't bring it up. It's taboo. Oh, you can't have this political way of thinking about this subject. So I find it to be a boatload of fun. I love doing the skits. I love playing make believe and doing all that. And then I love the talk show element of it as well. So it really it scratches a lot of itches. Oh, and I love the fact that we have musical guests on it. So it's like this really crazy variety show that it's just a monster amount of fun.
And that's why I liken it to the Johnny Carson show. For you young ones, Google it. But it really it is monstrous, and your team is unbelievable. I mean, your tech you have a huge amount of tech going on at the same time, but so enjoyable and so funny. And why is it? We need to laugh at ourselves, and we all are. We all have good, ugly, and okay in us, right? But we're not able to, I mean, we are able to laugh at ourselves, but you kind of get nervous about having some of these topics because people sometimes attack. So,
Right.
so what
Well,
is it? I mean, that's the whole thing
see,
about comedy.
and it's funny, but it's like always the woke people who complain. I've found this to be the case since this whole cancel culture thing started like a decade ago.
Yeah.
And it's been coming for a while and it's just reached a fever pitch now. But it's always like oh, you're a Republican. Oh, Republicans all have sticks in their asses and blah blah. And you just like, ah ha ha. That's your joke, but you just keep going. It's always the people on the left I've found, like the most woke people that are the most unforgiving audience. You make one joke, about a trans this or a woke that, and they just lose their minds.
Yes.
And that's like, talk about needing some reflection. It's like they should ask themselves, well, why is that? Why can you not tolerate a joke? Like they're coming after Dave Chappelle again
Oh
for
no.
a joke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting that people who want us to be so over tolerant, who want us to watch every word, we actually have to get approval on some word usage at this time,
Yeah.
right? Are the very people who like crumble at words that you use. They're just words.
Yes.
It and how you take it. It's not my responsibility how you take my words. I need to be kind and considerate of other people's feelings, so to speak. But I'm not responsible for how you receive it, right? It's
Yeah.
my power is in how I react to things. So if there's an event and somebody says something and I react over the top, the outcome's going to be different if I just go, okay. There's not going to be any over the top
Yes.
outcome. So I just don't understand why they get, crazy. That's why I see a lot of people having conversations. It's nice to have conversations across the aisle with people who will have the conversation and allow you to finish the sentence without jumping down your throat.
Right.
So you can only imagine because I am curious. I was just like, so why do you think this way? And they're just like, well, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, but there's no substance behind it. They're repeating what they're hearing. I
Yes.
love it when I get an opportunity to speak to someone who isn't of the same mindset as mine, and I will fight to the end. And this is what America's about. I will fight to the end to give them the right to say what they want to say.
Sure.
Just don't jam it down my throat. Let me live the way I want to live, and that's the way it has worked for decades, centuries, blah blah.
Yeah. Isn't it wild how we managed to survive as a human race for tens of thousands of years,
Yeah.
but only recently it becomes imperative to try to figure out what pronouns we're going to use for some person who, like, it's the most ridiculous out of all the problems that we have in the world. What pronoun I'm going to use about you when you leave the room? Not big on my priorities.
No,
Not up in the top 10.
no, I totally agree. Totally agree. And it's just why is it my responsibility to understand and know what you want to be called? People call me Lorianne, people call me Coach, people call me LA, some people call me L, some people call me other things I can't say because we're on the radio. I don't care. Call me whatever you want.
Like people call me that funny guy. They call me Michael. They call me that sexy underwear model. They call me
Wait,
Mr.
wait, back up.
Universe.
What? I did hear that once.
That's my preferred pronoun. That sexy underwear model. That's
Oh,
me.
okay.
Yeah,
I finally determined I'm going to be called Glamma when I have grandchildren. I'm going to be called
that's a
Glam.
great one.
That's going to be my pronoun because I love sparkly everything. So,
That's a
so
good one. Trademark that. You're gonna sell some merch.
I got some merch going on, Glamma.
Yeah,
So the coaching Glamma. That's what my new name is for 2024.
that's awesome. You
My
could
son,
do anything. You could go like camping with grandma, uh,
right?
vacations, like a series of how-to books, tattoos for tattoos for the new grandma.
I love it. I love it. I think we have to have a merch conversation after the show.
Yes,
That's your
yes,
mind always spinning. Just amazing. So theloftusparty.com, when I go
yes.
there, there's so much going on. You have a podcast, you have that show tonight, you have your book, what haven't you done yet? What's going on here?
Oh, I seriously, like, this is all building towards an album. Like, we always do like a piece of original music for that show tonight. I picked up the guitar during the lockdown. I'm like, oh, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to get something out of this. So, and I'm so completely addicted to playing music now, and so we always write a silly song. But yeah, by the end of 2024, we're gonna have like a whole album of just goofy, fun music. That that's the next thing. That's the
Let me
next
know.
thing.
I'm a singer. I'll be more than happy to back you up,
I
dude.
love it. I love it. We're gonna get you in there for everything.
I love
and
it.
then
Love it.
and then the website, we also I've got some great contributors that my
Yeah.
buddy Dave, who does like the weekend memes, and then my buddy Lisa, who always has art stuff and new music picks and all that other. So it's like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
I review video games on there, so it's just everything.
Yeah.
It's a shotgun blast of goodness.
It is goodness. Yeah, yeah. It definitely is a lifestyle website where you can just, stay top of mind and have everything there where you can find new stuff and follow you and the boys and your team.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a name for your players? Is it still the Loftus players or
No, we need that like not ready for prime time players. We need like the Ronkonkoma Globe, the Shakes the Farmingdale Shakespeare players or something.
There you go. There you go. No, they were really good. Very funny. And oh my gosh, the one impersonator, he was so good.
Jason Scoop,
Jason.
he does a lot of voices. He's a good guy to have in your cast
Oh my.
because you're like, hey, could you do an Elon Musk? He's like, I can do it. I'll figure it out. So
Yeah.
he's great.
Yeah, he's great. A great energy. And the other gentleman you had on too, funny guy. Oh my God, very versatile. Very
Yeah,
versatile.
and that's we have my buddy Brian Hayner is like our musical director, and he wasn't there for that show. He was finishing up his album. This guy is such an insanely talented musician. So we have like a group of like eight, but because it is kind of like a little rascals, like, hey, I can come down, I'll be this. So we're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants. You didn't even see a bunch of like of the really talented. We've had like Jim Brewer stop by
No way.
and do skits. Yeah, Rob Schneider says he wants to do the show.
Oh, he was good.
There's a bunch of like real celebrities who are going to be popping in the future, so
Love
it's
it.
going to be a lot of fun.
I'll be stalking you. It'll be fun. Definitely let me know when Kevin James is coming. I adore him. I
I
think he's
will.
funny. He's so funny. I saw Rob Schneider on New Year's Eve, on in New York.
Oh
So
yeah.
he was doing the Nashville thing with his daughter. So I couldn't believe that was his daughter either. So it was pretty cool. But
Yeah, very cool.
so what's up for you for 2024 other than I know you have this streaming system coming on, you have your podcast, you have that show tonight at thatshowtonight.com, the Loftus Party, loftusparty.com. You got a whole bunch of stuff. Anything else? I mean, do you have any more time in your day?
The last thing that I want to do is well, I'm still out on the road doing stand up. Like I make sure I do like I'm trying to do like one big stand up show a month. Like I was just in Spokane, Washington. I'll be returning to Vegas this summer. I'm going to be doing Chicago, Milwaukee. But like I started doing this joke in my stand up, but I think I might really go for it this year. Like everybody has their own holiday. Like the African American, they have Black History Month, and then there's Pride Month, but there's like nothing for straight people. So I want to start Slut Week or like Whore Month because like married people aren't having enough sex. So I want to give them a reason and an excuse to do that. So I want to start like Slut Month, and
Oh my
and we'll
God,
just
I'm so sorry.
celebrate
My
it.
show's going to be taken off the air. Oh gosh, FCC is what my producers is cringing right now.
This is complete. You can say this on television. You can say this on the radio. It's there's we haven't broken any rules. See, and that's the problem.
We
That's
haven't.
why we need this holiday.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Well, and one might say that every day is, Straight People Day, but that's not true.
It's 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 really not. And like every other aspect of society, everybody's getting holidays and this week and that week. What about the people who built this country? The people,
Seriously.
something
My
for
grand
us.
I love it. My grandfather came over on the boat, learned English, you know.
Yes,
He had to learn the language to take the license so that he could, do his, both of my grandparents did that. I'm a second gen American. So I'm all
fantastic.
confused because they did what they needed to do and live the American dream. And that's why I get to do what I love to do because of them and my father and my mother and working so hard,
Yeah,
So I hate the privilege card because I was like, do not throw a privilege card at me because I work for every single thing that I have and
yes,
everything that I've done, good, bad, and ugly.
yeah.
I've worked for it, I've earned it. And when you take that earning away from people, that's not right. That's not
It's
right.
not, and that's like the common thing, and I talk about this in my stand up as well. It's like universally in this country, everybody loves seeing it when those immigrants stand there and they say the Pledge of Allegiance and they know more about this country and how it works than the vast majority of people who grew up here. Everybody loves new Americans, the people who've waited in line, they love the country. What we don't like is people who break our laws and they don't respect our legal system and they just show up.
So how do we keep a society going if we don't have rules and if we are only held to the rules and illegals or people coming in here not properly, not according to our rules, and they're breaking our rules and they get around it and they're getting
Yes,
more, they're actually taking away some of the benefits from the people who need Americans, civilians, people who live in America, who grew up in America, they're taking away their benefits because they have to use those benefits for these people who are, coming across the
yes,
border illegally. I have no problem with people coming into America. That's how my grandparents came in. They came
yes.
in, but they followed the rules. They did what they had to do. So how do you contend with that?
Well, you can't. And it's almost like someone uh, is like intentionally trying to bring this country to its knees, where the
Feels like it.
federal government is not following their own laws. They have a constitutional requirement to protect the states from invasion. And I don't know what else you can call our current lack of a border other than an invasion. And then you have California that has been horribly mismanaged. There's $68 billion. They have a $68 billion deficit. And now they're saying that if you're in illegal, that you'll be receiving health and medical benefits that won't cost them a dime. So, and the cost of that is like $3 billion a year. So, as a taxpayer, your money is taken by the federal government, it's taken by the state, and you're not getting a return on that. That's taxation without representation, and normally Americans don't like that very much.
Yeah, I think we had this, I don't know, I think it was called a Tea Party about that.
Yeah,
I kind of
yeah,
remember my history, unless you want to rewrite that, but that's the history I learned when I went to school. So I don't
yes,
know, and I have no problem, contributing and helping other Americans. I have no problem. I have no problem having immigrants come in. One of my best friends who was just visiting with me for the holidays, shout out to Lynn and Darren. She came from Europe, went England. She was born in England, went to Canada. She had dual citizenship. She gave up one of those citizenships to become a citizen of the United States. She went through all the things that you had to go through. She learned the history that she had to
yes.
learn. She learned our anthem. She learned the pledge because you have to take it. And it was goosebumps when she was standing there. The pride you see when they're taking that oath is beyond. Like it's just so prideful to watch it because
It's
they love this
beautiful.
country. Yeah, they love this country. I have a friend who is she's from Russia, and she came over here because she wanted the freedoms, and she just doesn't understand what's going on. She goes, I don't understand. Why are these people so hating America? I don't understand it. It's so great. So I also thought it was funny with her very thick Russian accent. She goes, where do you think I'm from? When I first met her, and I went, Russia, and she was like, how'd you know? And I'm like, the accent.
Yeah,
It's very fun, but she's a doll. She's an absolute doll, but so proud to be here.
I have some friend. No one loves this country more than someone who immigrated here from a former socialist or communist country. Those
Agreed.
people, I went to. I went the Republicans and the GOP. They have this big gala every year. CPAC. It's the
Sure.
conservative, blah 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 blah. And I tell you what, there's Chinese Americans there, and they love this country, and they're losing their minds because they can see the handwriting on the wall. With a social credit score and a digital currency and everything, and the censorship and they're they are really the canary in the coal mine, and they are screaming from the mountaintops that we have to really turn this ship around fast.
You think we can?
Yes, absolutely. I have faith. I have so much faith in my fellow American. I have no faith in government. I have no faith in big government, any of that. But I think the American people will continue just to realize what a horrible situation that we're in, and people will stand up and they will do the right thing. And it's unacceptable. It's
Yeah.
unacceptable the way things have been going.
Without a doubt. And I see the Ronald Reagan, doing things in plain sight. That's what they're doing right now. We need to take notice of what's going on and need to make a decision of whether that works for our families or not. And
Right.
and stand together, because we are powerful. Each individual is powerful. Each individual voice does make a difference. But if you don't stand up for what is important to you and your family, what's going to happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna be
And
pigeonholed in a whole different way.
right. And everybody has to do it on their own. Everybody has to stand up on their own 2 feet and inspire the next person to stand up and be the best person that they can be. But yeah, we shouldn't abide by some of these insane rules. The whole lockdown thing was like a little test run
I think
for
so
how
too.
much we would take and how much we would bend. And I'm done bending.
Yeah, compliance. I don't think compliance is going to be as simple this time for everybody.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and I understand being done bending. I'm not a willow tree. So,
Not until Slut Week.
not until Slut Week. Yeah. Thank you very much. Michael,
This holiday's gonna catch on. It's gonna be wildfire.
I swear it will. It will. And I know with you promoting it, it's going to catch on.
Yes, it'll be like the Discovery Channel. They have Shark Week. There'll be special programming. Ah,
People who get together for Slut Week and the local bars and stuff. All right, we
right.
gotta go. Michael, I love having you on. Please come back. Happy New Year to you and
Happy New
everyone.
Year.
And I'll see you at the next that show tonight. Can't wait to see you when you come back up to do that.
Let's do it. You're the best. Thanks for having me.
You are too. Thank you all for joining us today on Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I hope we earned the privilege of your time. Thanks again to Michael Loftus. You can find him at TheLoftusParty.com or ThatShowTonight.com. He's awesome, as you can tell. And look for our show next Saturday at 3 p.m. on JVC Broadcasting. We can be found on all major platforms, by the way, after that. Until next time, I am Coach Lorianne Casdia. Play a higher role, serve a higher purpose show for you, and what? Show up big, huge. Happy New Year, everyone.